welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review over the Walmart Oura Ring dupe. So this is the ring that we're going to be talking about today. I know if you watched my previous video, I had kind of went into a little bit more details about what this ring all does. It does track a lot of health things, and then it also tracks more of like the working out side of things. So your steps, your calories, the distance, any workouts that you might be doing. I have been kind of looking at all of my stats the last few days with this ring just to try to give you a good review. So the first night that I had this ring, I ended up getting like super sick in the late evening where I just was super stuffy, like I couldn't breathe out of my nose, my throat was scratchy and sore, and I had wore the ring the entire night. So I had wore it when I bought it, literally I charged it for like 20 minutes and then I wore it all day for the next several days. And for whatever reason, I was up all night. Like I was blowing my nose was uncomfortable, I couldn't breathe out of my nose, I'm not a mouth sleeper. It was just a terrible night for me. So I woke up and I ended up checking the app to see like, okay, like this thing has to say that I got 0 sleep last night. So then, super weird, I opened the app and it says that I had a really good night's sleep. So it said that I had an 87 out of 100 sleep score. They rated that as excellent. And then when I look into like the deeper categories, it says I got 2 hours of deep sleep, an hour of REM, 5.5 hours of light sleep, and that I woke up 3 times. I will tell you, I was up like probably at least 20 times throughout the night. Naturally, I already get up like 1 time to use the restroom in the middle of the night, and that's probably what one of these are. So then it's saying I only woke up 2 other times, which does not seem accurate at all for me. And I'm not sure if this is just because it was the first day that I was wearing it. I couldn't tell you on that, but it for sure was not accurate for whatever reason for that night. But then as I wore it, it seemed like the results may have been getting a little better. So like my cold started getting better and my sleep score has been increasing throughout the days after that. So that's something that I'm not really sure how to tell if that's accurate or not. And then I did compare the heart rate monitor on the health ring and on the Apple Watch, and those seem to be pretty much like eye to eye. The blood pressure, I've always had normal blood pressure. I've never had an issue with blood pressure, and mine's always saying normal on the app. My blood oxygen levels are always normal on the app. My blood glucose is usually saying normal. It does track your menstrual cycle as well, so I unfortunately don't have any data on that as I have not had this ring long enough to track all of that information. My HRV has been showing as slow, so it was like normal the first like day that I had it, and then it ended up being slow the next several days after that, and I assume that that's just because I'm getting over my cold. And then my stress levels have always been normal when looking at the app as well. One thing is that I feel like the tracking the steps and the activity and the calorie tracking and all of that on the ring, I don't think that any of that is as accurate as the Apple Watch. When I compare the ring with the watch, I do notice that like the steps, the distance, the calories burned, I don't notice that they are the same. I'm not going to say that they're completely off by any means, but they're definitely not as close together as I would assume them to be if they were both very accurate at tracking them. So for example, if I look at yesterday, mind you, I did not work out. This is just what I naturally burnt throughout the day. My Apple Watch is saying that my move calories burned was 402 calories. It's saying that I exercised for 12 minutes, that I had 6,300 steps, and I was a little over 2.8 miles in distance. And then when I compare that to the ring, it's showing that I had 5,400 steps, 2.1 miles, and that I burned 188 calories. So overall, some of the pros and cons that I have found since having this ring, the biggest con I would say is that it scratches so easy. And then having it sit on me like this all day, it traps moisture in it. So then, I don't know if you've ever left a band-aid on like overnight or whatever, and the moisture just gets under there and it leaves your skin like that soggy, weird feeling. Well, that's what the ring does for me, and I'm not a fan of that at all. It's also, the size to me is a bit of a con. So it only comes in the 1 thickness. I think they would look a lot nicer if they were a little bit thinner, and they're a little bit bulky for my taste. I know everyone's a little bit different in that aspect. Another pro is that it actually charges super quick. So it says it takes about an hour and a half to charge. The manual is saying that it lasts for about 5 to 7 days. Now, some of the pros, I do like that it tracks some other things that Apple does not track. And everything everything is controlled through an app. Another huge pro about this ring is that if you go into the device settings inside of the app, you can click looking for a ring if you maybe misplaced your ring or you're not sure where it's at, and then it'll actually pull up a Google map of the last place that it had pinged where your ring was at. Another pro is that inside of the apps, it tells you what every category is. So like if you don't know what HRV is, you can click on it, and then in there it's going to give you a really good description on what it is. So I would say all in all, I don't know that the Oura Ring is something that I would be interested in purchasing. Now I think it tracks really amazing things and I'm super excited for that. I think that's amazing. I just want something that I know is completely accurate. I would like something that's a little slimmer. For me, it's just a little bit too big. But I do think that if you're interested in getting the actual Oura Ring, you could always try this out and kind of see how you like it before you make that big purchase.